Hey, good freaking evening, everybody. It's going to be one of my newest gameplays. This trash is about the offensive fortress. Let's get to it. Advanced endgame concept. The offensive fortress is a high-level coordination strategy when you use minor pieces to paralyze the enemy game, while your main forces execute a mechanical win. In this Vienna Gambit victory, myself, my knight, my bishop, and my rook form an unbreakable wall. They didn't just win the game, they created a sensory vacuum that forced the opponent to crack under the pressure of having zero execution oxygen. Detailed study. The offensive fortress. Now, let's get started. E4, E5, F4, knight F6, knight to C3, knight C6, freaking knight F3, pawn to D6, F5. In the long term, restrict this bishop's movement and to force it to fianchetto. If my opponent wanted to, D5, freaking bishop to D3, knight E4, knight takes E4, pawn takes E4, bishop takes E4, queen take H4. Due to the amount of oxygen that I've restricted from my opponent, freaking here, freaking here, only way, and freaking even here is so much that if freaking only way that freaking black can develop is on this side, whereas the opposite side of castling, which could only potentially maybe a queen side attack counterplay. So obviously he completely hangs his knight due to the lack of squares and mobility, and thought he had an easy check. Obviously I take with the knight because it was the whole point of that to defend the square. I immediately forced some double pawns on freaking bishop to c6 check. Bishop pawn takes c6, castles, g5, knight f3, h6, knight takes g5. This is what we call the sensory vacuum. Look at how good this knight's outpost is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares controlled in the center. In the next move, I immediately capitalize on this by anchoring the pawn in the center, getting the queen as support. This pawn is technically hanging, but the queen is defending it too. But also too that the bishop hung itself, not even me realizing. So I immediately go rook takes f5, lose another vital minor piece. The dark square bishop is practically useless, and there's a threat on f7, which forged both of the rooks, which I honestly did not see in the moment, which I took the wrong way. The only mistake I could have did better was this. When he went like this, I could have went like this, which would but that was my mistake, and I was just focused on building the fortress instead of doing the tactics. Rook takes f7, d4, g4, trading now. Why do I trade off the queen right here? Because it forces one of the main black's defenders to be gone. I was willing to sacrifice the queen to very simply freaking to literally take black's only fighting piece and to go after this bishop soon. h5, knight f6, bishop e5, bishop takes g5, bishop takes b2, rook to e1, rook to d8, rook to b1, bishop d4, king steps out away in the light square, bishop to e5, knight to h5, rook to d7, rook takes d7, king takes d7, knight f6, bishop takes, bishop takes. And even study this if we go back and really take our time. Look at this fortress. The rook guards these two squares. The knight guards this square, this square, this square. The pawn will instantly get captured if try to escape. The knight has immediately access to these two important squares. And not this square, I meant freaking this square. This square, the rook has access here, here, and freaking here. An entirety of this B file. That's how much control I have with the board by this fortress. Let's count these squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, No, not these two. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. And black only has freaking 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'll just say literally one square. No, not even one square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, and 5 squares, and I have 27. We're king to f1, and that is the mechanical squeeze. 27 to 4 squares, and the simplification of the board, which I immediately take advantage of the black's pawn structure to be damaged. One of the pawns are going to fall. I take the one, whatever side the king was going to go to. If the king went to, let's say, freaking this side, same concept. Immediately would have took right here. And also would have gave me an absolute pin. But king went in here to attack my rook, right? Back away. c4. Now, before we finish this endgame, what are the key takeaways for every level? Beginner level, the ladder rhythm. As you go into the endgame, you're going to see a cleaner rook, ladder mate, and force mate in 3 or 2. The intermediate level is place synergy. Stop moving pieces one by one. Learn how to use the knight and bishop together to cut off both. Let's go back to both the dark squares, and the light squares, and the. No, let's go back. Let me go back right here. The knight guards the light squares. The bishop guards all the dark squares. So the knight and the bishop are both using their opposite colors as advantages to take more space of the board. Even the expert too, move 13 when I immediately put the freaking knight to e5, which absolutely controls the center. Which the knight absolutely uses control of the center and almost a pass pawn too. That's the big bang of this victory. By playing my knight on e5, I didn't just win a pin, I'll claim the geometrical center of the board. Move 13 was an outpost, move 16 was building the walls, to build the anchor, the knight, and the rook to f5, and to remove the only pieces that could challenge my fortress. Move 17, as I go back, I just continue to simply just squeeze, force bad trades, squeeze, simplify. And 18 through 43, let's go. Simplifies to the end game. Let's start from move 40. Now let's go back here. Okay, so black steps out the way to protect his pawn here. I immediately take the advantage to take, and to stop the king from getting onto this file and attacking this pawn. King moves. I immediately stop black from invading onto this key square. And if he tries to go for the potential split, potentially goes for a split, he just loses the pawn, so he's forced in the position of Zugzwang. CT check, I step out the way to d3 to simply cut off these two squares and attack this square and defend this pawn. Using this pawn as a decoy and bait just to get the king as far away as possible from these two pawns. Let's go. Then obviously he falls for the bait. I immediately take the last and final pawn. King takes a2, g4, b1, g5, c1, and I immediately go like this to force the opposition onto the king and take another pawn as bait, so I can immediately pass this pawn. So it goes into a simple pawn race. Look at the force mate in 2. Queen check, rook check, game. So what is the point of all this? Learn how to find punishment moves and use those in resources to explain the transition from a fortress to a win. The winning chess endings by myself, even the winning end games I've been showing even by myself, are great examples of what to do and how to execute. And this is even a part of my lesson from the Mobile 11 Offensive Fortress. Tune your chess tactics, Antino. The perfect guide from learning how to piece coordinates. It teaches exact geometry to use to trap the black king, showing how much pieces talk to each other in the board for the pawn hunting mechanical conversion. And mechanical conversion, even watch other my gameplays too to show it. The method to the madness. If you are interested in this module, or learning all these endgame tactics in the reverse psychology, and the freaking backwards method that Capablanca, Raul Jose, I meant Jose Raul Capablanca, I would say basically put the foundation for. Francis Andre Fidel started it. Capablanca, I believe, the fourth world chess champion, built the foundation and made it prevalent. And even the last video of how Ding Li lost classical championship shows how logic will always beat tactics. Logic will always beat endgames, and logic in these types of conditions will always be in your control. Every time you lose an endgame, it can always be your fault. You always can find a mistake. You can always find something that can hold you accountable. Even myself, where I forced a crawling back endgame, which I slew the game and forced a draw, but I was so sensory overloaded that I forced a draw, but I thought I was losing, and my mind broke mentally, and I resigned. That's going to be the post of my first loss. So, I just onboarded my first official student to the master's path. He went to dead loss, made an 8, an unbreakable fall in just 5 weeks. Saturday sessions are filling up. If you're a high vision player, musician, tired, or throwing winning games, you need the backwards method. Tap the line and book an order 45-minute audio. Comment the word execute and no mercy if you are interested. Out. Thank you guys.